tonight's card. Here we go. Let's see. Every time I feel like I've got this, I don't have it. Let's see here. So if you're on tonight and you can, I do have it. Okay, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Tara with Tara Beth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Hey, Miss Rosie, here in Mid-Missouri. And tonight and all week, I'm going to share cards using the Silly Safari stamp set. So, hey, Amy, thanks for joining. So tonight's card is a waterfall card. And so you just slowly pull it and you get all these adorable tiny little images. And I had so much fun using this set this weekend. I did most of the cards yesterday. I don't know what made me think, oh, thank you, Amy. Thanks, Rosie. I just thought that these were perfect images for a waterfall card. I haven't done one of these in so long. So I thought I'd share how to make one of those tonight with you. So what you're going to need is you're going to need the Silly Safari stamp set. We're going to need some Versamark, some Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. And then, oh, I need my memento, which I didn't pull. And that could be interesting because it's not where it belongs. There it is. Then you're going to need some blends, and I'll share what those are. Hey, Karen, thanks for joining. And we're going to get to tonight's card. Super fun, really easy card. It works really great with small images. Hey, Mary, thanks for joining. So if you've got something with small images, this works out perfect. So these 4 little characters are great. They would have worked all 4 of these, but I really love the giraffe, and I think he's in probably 50% of the cards that I made this weekend. I love the sayings on this. Happy birthday, you party animal. It's your day, go wild. So lots of fun stuff. Welcome, baby. So this is not just a birthday set. It's really, thank you. It's everything. So this is a great starter set. If you're starting to stamp, this is a fun one. And if you don't want to invest in the blends, you can use the color pencils. So just another way to make your beginning dollar go if you're just starting to stamp. So we're going to pull out the kit here that I've got together. And the first things first is I've got 4 pieces of basic black that I've cut at 2 by 2. So this is going to be your mats on your die cuts. And this is what your base is going to be on each one of these little cards. So then I used my stylish shapes. And I die cut 4 pieces of basic white. And that's from our stylish shapes, of course. And this is the third, largest, third smallest. So it's right in the middle of your rectangle dies. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring out our memento ink. And I use an empty stamp pad that I use with memento re-inker. Hey, Angie, thanks for joining. And so we're going to stamp our 4 little images. And I'm going to kind of do these in a specific order. And so we're going to do our giraffe first. And so this image, you can stamp upright, you can angle it. It works in a lot of different fashions to get different looks from the same stamp. So we're going to stamp him kind of cockeyed. We're going to set that over to the side. And then we're going to stamp, I guess this is like a jaguar or a cheetah. Okay, I'm going to pull that down. We're going to stamp him right there. And then we're going to do this adorable monkey because he is too cute. This one I think works really well with the baby sentiment because he just has a childish look to him, if you ask me. Full of mischief. And then we're lastly going to do the zebra. Now, I will tell you, one of the cards I shared this week, I stamped the zebra with Versamark and used black embossing powder. And that turned out fabulously. It's a really, really good image for that. Okay. Now, maybe I'll go ahead and, yeah. I'll go ahead and stamp the back side as well, since I have that out. So I have a piece of basic white that we're going to use, and I don't think I have that blocked up. I remembered at 6:57 as I was finishing season 3 of Bridgerton that I was going live and I needed to block up all of my, and so of course this is a bundle that I'm stamping tons and tons. So of course, you know, I forgot until the very last minute. But I think I got most of them. All right. Let's flip that over, see if we can't do that a little bit better. If not, it'll work. Yep, that's better. Okay, now I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow and my Old Olive. And what I did was I did these palm leaves, or that's what I'm calling them. I don't know. Whatever the ferny looking one is. And I did that in the darker color. So I did that with Mossy Meadow, and I'm just doing that, stamping that a couple of times on the bottom. And then I also have a piece of basic white that measures 1 1.25 by 4. And this is going to be what holds down my, my waterfall. Okay. So we may pull out, let's go ahead while we're at it, and let's do a little stamp on our envelope as well. There we go. So this is a lot of stamping that you can get done, but it's perfect for a beginner because there's really not any, like, you can do as much or as little as you want. And so you can dress it up more. See, I love that. Right, just right down there at the bottom. So oftentimes I use designer series paper or pattern paper to put along those bottoms on my card base. So I'm just doing some random stamping to give that safari feel. Okay, so get that out of the way, that out of the way. Okay, let's color here. So it's not going to take, it's a very quick color. Trust me, I don't want to be on camera and talking while I'm doing my coloring. So I'm using my Stampin' lens, and for my monkey, I'm going to do his face and his ears with crumb cake. I usually use a bullet tip. So the thing about our Stampin' Right markers is you've got a brush tip and a bullet tip. But because I'm putting ink down fast, I'm using my bullet tip. And this image is pretty large and open, so it's not like I'm doing a lot of small stuff. All right. Now, for the monkey's fur, I guess, I'm just using pecan pie. And I'm only using one. I'm not really blending. Just because I think more of blending with flowers. I could certainly do some blending here, but with this, doing it on video, you guys don't want to watch me do that. Because that just takes time and lots of layers. So you can see how quickly he came together. Now I do have a little bit of strawberry slush that I'm using right there for his tongue. All right, so while I've got that out, we'll do the same thing with our giraffe. And our giraffe I colored with Timid Tiger. I did the polka dots with Timid Tiger. And I'm using the dark. And I'm using light Daffodil Delight. Now, I did this one last night. And I did it kind of quick. And what I found is you can put your ink down in your polka dots, your little spots, I guess. And then you can just color right on over it with the Daffodil Delight. So while we're talking about this, let's talk about the joining special. So this month it's Stampin' Up. When you join someone's team, you are going to get $125 worth of your product that you pick out. So if you're a beginner, you could do just kits. I've had team members do that. If you're fairly new to stamping, you can add things and supplies like lots of adhesive. You can add a bone folder, a paper trimmer, a really good Stampin' Die bundle. You can get a mini cut and emboss. That's a really great way to get tools at a much lower rate. And then you'll get that 20% discount on all of your upcoming orders for the next 3 months, or as long as you stay active. I'd love to chat with you about it if you've got time, if you're interested. If you've been looking at that mini cut and emboss and you just haven't pulled the trigger, let's do it that way. Okay, so I colored him with Daffodil Delight and then the spots with Timid Tiger. And now I'm going to make his mane, or that's what I'm going to call it, with Cajun Craze. So here's our little guys. This one we're not going to have to color, so we only have the cheetah left. And the cheetah is the easiest one because we're just going to put some Cajun Craze around his face. And of course his ears. And you'll see now, because I'm doing a smaller set, I'm using that bullet tip. When I color in circles. And that's a great way for the colors to blend. So we're gonna color right down there. He's just so innocent looking. No, I'm not going to eat you alive. I'm just here for fun. Now you can see I stamped this one a little bit higher. Well, thank you, Mary. I think these were the perfect colors as well. So you can see that I stamped him a little higher than I did on my original. My original went all the way down, but you can just kind of color all the way down, or you can just leave a little bit of white. I'm gonna add a little bit more color. We want him to, there we go. Now I'm happy with my cheetah. Yeah. All right, so these are four little guys. I think they're super cute. Lots of fun. Really great for kids' birthday cards. That person that's got young at heart. All of that fun stuff. So here we go. Here is what we need for our card. So the card base is basically just a 4 1/4 by 5.5 sheet of cardstock. And so I'm using Old Olive. And then I have to decide which one I wanted that side. So I'm going to put my backing on a basic black mat, just so that pops just a little bit. And it wouldn't be a Terabeth stamp card if it didn't have layer after layer after layer. Okay, so we're going to adhere those layers to an old olive mat. Okay, so there's the back of our card. We're going to flip it over. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to add our designer series paper. And so I have just a piece of old olive textured paper from the Lovely Blossoms designer series paper pack. So just remember, even though your designer series paper is in a specific collection and goes with a specific stamp set, you don't have to use it for that. Whatever, take your inspiration and use it wherever. Okay. So this is our card base, card back, card front. Okay. Now, here is this is the stopper, so to say, for your mechanism. So we're going to adhere that, and I'm going to show you, I have it about, let's look here. I have it about 3/4 of an inch, half an inch. Yeah, 5/8 of an inch, right in between of the bottom. Now, I'm going to be kind of careful about sealing it until I have it all placed. So I'm going to take my seal and I'm just going to put 2 strips of seal on each end. And then we're going to line it up between 1/2 and 3/4. Just enough for it to stick out, but we want to be able to make sure. So I'm going to move that up just a little bit. And before I seal it down, I'm going to sit that down. And so that looks like it should work. Because basically what we're doing is we're going to adhere this mechanism right here. But we want to make sure the mechanism doesn't go over the top of the card, or it's not going to fit in your envelope. We want to make sure that it fits in our envelope. But you know what we didn't do? We didn't stamp our sentiment there. So I'm going to pull out all of my supplies here. So I have my static pad, my embossing buddy. Hey, Karen, thanks for joining. And we are going to put just a little bit right there. This is what keeps your embossing powder from sticking where you don't want it to stick. And I keep mine in the little bag to try to keep it all nice and together. So this is Woohoo, It's Your Birthday. And we're going to ink that up with Versamark. I'm going to put it right about there. Hopefully that's not too high. I don't think it is. Okay. I'm going to bring out just a scratch piece of paper. Some people use coffee. Ooh. Never had that happen before. So I usually like to sprinkle my embossing powder on it twice, just so I get a really good, and then I'm giving it a flick, making sure that I don't have any excess. And you can tell I use the Wild White embossing powder, the white, quite frequently. So when you use your heat tool, I hope you can hear my voice over this. There's 2 settings on the Stampin' Up! Heat tool. The first one is a drying setting. The second one is a heated setting, and it's what melts the embossing powder on the Versamark. And I don't care how many times I emboss, it's always magic to me. Okay. So I'm going to let that cool for just a second. You don't want to just swipe it immediately because sometimes it doesn't get nice and solid yet. So there, what a great crisp image that is, or sentiment. Okay, I have the, I don't know what you call it, tab looking punch from the Hole Punch assortment. And we are going to put this actually, I'm going to show you how terrible I am. So yesterday when I was doing this, I marked my 1-inch spot because this is a 2-inch strip and I want it right in the middle and I didn't want it to be off at all. So here we go. I'm going to put that in there. I've got that line almost to the middle right there. Just a little tip. You want to make sure you get it right there in the center. And I also didn't pull my ribbon. And I wonder what I did with it. It's probably on this filthy desk of creativity that I had going this weekend. So we may be changing the ribbon up a little bit. And that. What could I use? What could I use? We'll try this ribbon. Let's see if it'll work. Okay. Okay. This is the Old Olive Rick Rack ribbon that's part of the Sweet Bug collection. And we're going to see if it's going to work for this. So we're going to tie a knot. Actually, it may work a little bit better because you can get a tighter knot because it's a little like flimsier. There we go. Yeah, that's going to work just fine. So I used the Mossy Meadow and gold ribbon on the one I created yesterday, but this is nice. We'll try this. Okay, so this is our mechanism. So now let's get to the fun stuff here. Go ahead and set that guy there. So this is a piece of 2 by 9, and I scored it at, let me see here. I scored it at 2 inches, 2 3/4, 3 1/2, and 4 1/4. And so then what I did was I folded it right in half, or close to in half, at the 4 1/2 marker. And then I just flipped it up and scored it again, flipped it up and scored it again, and flipped it up and scored it again, or burnished it each time. So that's what gives us that mechanism to make it roll. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to feed this in that slot. And we're going to make sure that it works before, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish those sides where I had put that seal before and didn't want it to get too caught up. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add seal to the back of that slot. Yes, that's right. Okay. Had to think about it. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm lining this up as well as possible and trying to get it as straight as possible and centered, because you don't want your mechanism to be cockeyed. It worked for the giraffe, but we don't want anything else to be. Okay. Now I'm going to set that right there. And so that's what your mechanism that you pull down. So now all you have to do is arrange your people. And of course that giraffe is going on top. Oh, hold on. No, the monkey has to go on the bottom because I forgot we need to stamp one more time. It's Your Day, Go Wild. And it works perfect right above the monkey's head. So lots of places for sentiments on this where you can hide them. So we're going to start out. We're going to adhere. Oh, you know what? I didn't put my mats on there. So we'll adhere our monkey die cut. And then this one can go on completely. Whereas the rest of them, we're only going to put it at the top. Yep. I'm second guessing myself. I'm sorry. This is what happens when I do my cards so far in advance. And like yesterday wasn't in advance, that much in advance, but this isn't one that I put together a lot. So we'll put our zebra on the basic black mat. My mat, yes, don't forget the mat. All right, I'm lining that up, only adding the adhesive to that very small center there. Then we're gonna add our cheetah to his mat. Okay, and just a little bit of seal, that little tiny bit will be enough. I'm putting him right up to the top of that score line and sealing it down. And then we've got our giraffe, and this card will be so close to done. Our giraffe, which I love. So let's turn him around. And then you have your waterfall card with a really cute, fun birthday sentiment. Too cute. How adorable is this little guy, this thing? I love this one. So I didn't do it on the originals, but let's add a couple of, let's add a little bling here. Right down there. No, not there. We'll add it over here. All right, so here we go. It's your day, go wild, woohoo, it's your birthday. I do kind of like it with this ribbon instead. And then you flip it over, you've got a place to sign it. Hey, Judy, thanks for joining. I'm glad you like it. We're going to add a little bit of designer series paper. So I've got some like fern looking designer series paper from the Cute as a Bug collection. So yesterday I was just looking for things that would match. And how is it that paper that doesn't really have a direction, you feel like it has a direction? Oh, I'm glad you guys think it's cute. Thank you so much. Remember now, these kits are available free as a thank you when you place a $50 purchase at my online store this week. So that started today. And so any purchases made today up until next Saturday, you'll get that kit for free. So you'll get all 5 kits from this week's cards. If you place a $75 order, you're able to get that Painted Illusions product of the month. And thank you so much for spending part of your weekend with me. You guys have an amazing week. I'll be back on Facebook at 7:30 on Friday. That's 7:30 Eastern. With the other 4 cards I created using the Silly Safari set. Have an amazing week. If you've got any questions, reach out. Thanks so much, guys.